Good afternoon. This is Veterans Talk. It ain't nothing but a thing we want to tune into every Saturday afternoon. I'm Elsa McGee, your host, and I'm here today with my co-host and partner in crime, Tony. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Man, I'm tired, man. We've been doing this ever since we started the show, trying to make sense out of a sensitive situation called the plight of veterans in the USA. And the USA with the plight of veterans. Now, Tony, I am messed up with the VA claim process again. Now, they just changed the process about 3 years ago, and now they made it automated, so it's moving faster. It's designed to move faster, but what has happened, they brought the PAC Act in with the Camp Lejeune stuff, and that threw millions of other veterans in the process that was never eligible for benefits. And now, on top of that, the VA, Trump left the VA with over 200,000 vacancies. And they haven't hired enough people to fill the vacancy. And some of the people they hiring, Tony, they don't need to hire them. They're incompetent. They don't want to be trained. They coming in wanting to tell the veteran, that I'm helping you. I'm here to do you a favor. They work for us.
Yes.
They work for us. They're there to render a service to veterans who, in their service to this country, incurred a disability. The country owe veterans when they do that. That's the solemn commitment. The problem has been, with the all these rules and regulations and veteran benefits was promulgated, Tony, when it was a segregated country. And they haven't done too much to tweak that. So what is happening, we are being judged on rules and regulations that are culturally biased toward us. It's culturally biased. And we need to have a look at it. Especially now with the Congress that we have got. We watch this Republican Party. It's become a joke almost. It is a party who just going to fight to stop the other party from doing anything. It appears to me. But what we got is still community. And I'm gonna overlook all of that because we working on some of that. What I'm excited about is what we're doing in Fulton County, Georgia. What we're doing in Fulton County, and people might not know. A lot of people don't even know about it, Tony.
Right. Yeah.
But we got a mechanism set up, and the way it's set up, if the commissioners will look back at the quality of candidates that they're selecting to represent veterans in their districts, if they would pay a little bit more closer attention to that, then I think we could do better. We got people on that commission that didn't come to volunteer, so I don't understand what they're doing there. Number one, if you didn't come to volunteer, you shouldn't be there.
Right.
You should just tell the folks that this is not cut. I'm not, so that the commission can do what it was set up to do. And the way it was set up, it could do a lot to handle the problems that we witness on the streets of Fulton County every day. And we see them, the veterans, homeless veteran with a sign. Now, Tony, what I've noticed, a lot of those homeless veterans with a sign are veterans with bad discharges.
Yeah.
And I don't think the community understand that how this plays off into, a life, the quality of life that veterans with a bad discharge have to deal with. Now, I'm not saying that some people don't deserve a bad discharge, but a lot of the discharges that I've seen was based in racism. They just cause racism. And they need to be re-looked at. The way the system's set up, you can have a discharge reviewed every year. why some of these VSOs are not teaching this in the community, that these guys can go back and have these discharges upgraded. A lot of the discharge was upgraded by presidential orders. You know, especially those guys that was draft dodgers and, you know, refused to do military service. They got bad discharges, but they've been upgraded, you know. And once they're upgraded, then they can get benefits, you know. So we need to be really looking at how Fulton County is set up to work as opposed to how it's working. But through it all, right now, I think we're doing a good job because we're bringing people together.
Yes.
We're bringing people together. You was about to say something.
Yeah, and I was about to say, we're putting light on that situation. That's one of the ways of, one of the steps in resolving the challenge is let the community know what is going on with any operation. And right now, we're talking about the city government, the state government, and unfortunately the federal government.
Yeah.
We're dealing with a political party that is in total disarray. And unfortunately, it appears, I'll say that it appears, they don't know how to solve their problem because they don't know how to, their elected officials were not vetted properly. And they find themselves infested with people who are only focused on themselves or their agenda. And not that of the people.
Not that.
And they were elected by the people to serve the people, but unfortunately, that's not what they're doing.
That's not what they're doing. And we got to be able to see that, Tony.
Yes, yes. Well, we see it. We've got to do what we're doing now is speaking about it, putting a voice to those concerns so that the public will be aware, you know. And once the public is aware, it's a slow process, but eventually those people will find themselves not in positions of authority, which means they will not be reelected to those offices, you know.
And that's key.
Yeah.
That's key.
Yeah.
To get those people out of government, that's stagnating government. You know, I mean, every citizen got a right to run for office. Every citizen got a right to push his particular skill package in terms of helping government function. What we've seen lately are people going into the government and trying to change the government to fit their own value system. You know, we thrive as being a country of laws, and saying that nobody is supposed to be above the law. But we have watched a party been taken over by a demagogue who has no respect for the law, period, when it comes to him. No respect for the law. And this is undermining people's confidence in our government because of what he and his crew believe should be. Now, we know right now that we are at war. We're at war. Israel is at war. The United States is at war. We just haven't committed troops to the ground yet. But we're shooting drones and we're shooting we're at war. And we need to think about that because we got one party pushing the wall and the other party trying to defund the wall. What kind of national conscience do we have with this what I call toxic politics?
Exactly. That's what it is. Yes.
It don't make sense to me, Tony, because I have been through racist politics. You know, and we know because we lived through that. But I saw Lester Maddox elected governor of Georgia, and you know he ran on racist tickets as a racist thing, but turned out to be one of the best governors for some people in the state. You know, so but what we got now is so totally different from that, Tony. I don't know what this is that's breathing on our laws and our constitution today, because you got a man that have gotten almost 600 of his followers convicted either of felony or misdemeanor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you still got people want him to run for office.
Yeah.
I don't understand. Can you explain that to me, Tony? I don't understand that. That baffled me to death. How can you have a person with all of that bad karma around them, and you still got confidence that they will do something right for you and the government?
And the sad part about that is he has demonstrated the fact that he doesn't care about the public. Mm-hmm. He's only concerned with enriching himself. Mm-hmm. You know, one of the things he said once one of the tax bill was passed, he went back to his cohorts and comrades and all that, mm-hmm. and said, "Do you see how rich I've made you?" Mm-hmm. He's all into himself and for his benefit and for those who are like him, financially like him. Not the ones that are voting to put him in office, because those people that are putting him in office and encouraging him to run again for president, they will never benefit for his type of politics.
Never.
You know, and so it boggles your mind how they, well, growing up in the South, we saw segregation and racism for, I would say, all of my life.
Yeah.
And to look at a presidential candidate who is in his subtle way, because we saw those subtle moves in the South when we were growing up, and how subtle he is about certain words he used, certain terms he used, and how he's pushing an agenda. You know, it's, you know, what is our country coming to?
And Tony, you asked a question that everybody should be asking. What can he do for the country?
Yes. Well, not just what can he do, what did he do during his first presidency for the country? One of the worst presidencies we had. Yeah.
You know, you had to look at what he did to the country. He crashed the budget. Yes. You know, he just really crashed it because they were supposed to have been a party of conservatism.
Yes.
He crashed the budget. He spent more money than our president, the last two presidents, matter of fact. So I don't understand what these people that's following him looking for. What are they looking for out of the government that's going to be led by a person of this character?
Yeah. You know, the sad part about it is that they are choosing not to look at his first year as president and President Biden's first year as president, and what he was focused on enriching himself, while President Biden is focused on the country and the citizens of the country benefiting from his decisions and his laws and his power to govern. You know, it boggles my mind. Yet, like you said, they're all ready and all excited about giving him another 4 years in office. Yeah.
And the thing that bothers me is that we done seen every demographic of workers strike.
Yes.
Every demographic of workers strike. And we're not getting it. That these billionaires that own 90% of the wealth is not sharing the wealth with the workers. How can we not see that they are spending their money buying politicians to work their will in the government? So they don't have to give them a livable wage. They don't have to make sure that they getting sick leave, that they getting child care leave, that they and then we look at this hypocritical Republican Party talking about they right to life.
Oh.
And then they will kill a bill that would take care of children. I mean, you know, you got children going hungry and going to school in this country every day.
Yeah.
And they don't want to give more money to that. But they give more money to war.
Yeah. You know, and you know, without even a second thought about the consequences. But I'm not, it's boggling my mind on it. But then not just that, also seeing, you're seeing what they're really like. And you go like, this is who you are. This is the policy you're pushing. Yet you're talking out of one side of your mouth and strangling the country out of the other side.
And Tony, this is what makes me so excited about what we're doing right now. Building unity and collaborations in Fulton County. What we, in spite of all the little gimmicks around the Veteran Empowerment Commission, we are still able to push forward an agenda that promotes transparency. We're still doing that because now we're seeing vendors coming together that's been getting money in Fulton County for years, millions of dollars for years, to deal with the problem that we're talking about, but they don't even know each other.
Yeah.
So how could they be working on these problems? So, that's what made me proud to see that coming together and to expose these inadequacies in the way things are now so that people can understand how much tax money being wasted because we are electing incompetence.
Yes. Yeah.
We're not electing people that know how to run a government and run it for all the people. We selecting people that want to run the government the way they want to run it. Here's one senator now out of Alabama that's going to hold up military appointments. How did he think the military run? Because he don't think that the military should be paying for people that got medical issues just because they're gay.
Yeah.
I mean,
or they find themselves, as they say, with child, and they don't want to be with child, and like that is their right. It is not the government's right to tell you when you can't do with your body what you want to do with your body, and we find a government that is bound and determined to do that.
And see, this to me, what this is trying to do, the government is trying to usurp the role of the church.
Oh, yeah.
You can't regulate morality.
Yes.
You got to teach it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You got to teach it. And what we're teaching is immorality.
Mm-hmm.
Our children are not learning how to be humane toward each other because of the color of their skin again.
Yeah.
Again. This is what Manchin was taught. When he was on the plantation, we was on the plantation with him. We was on a different road. His daddy ran the plantation, and we did the work.
Yeah.
So that's all he's used to seeing, us doing the work, because what that gives him a sense of entitlement over you, ownership, and those days are over.
Yes.
And we need people in the government that's not gonna give businesses the right to enslave people, really, because that's what happens. If Manson can stand on his yachts and say $17 an hour is too much for somebody that's working 40 hours a week, something wrong with that.
Yeah. Working 40 hours a week, making that kind of money, when the cost of living literally drains that to practically nothing. Especially when you're running a household. Mm-hmm. And most of them unfortunately, a lot of them are women that are head of households, and they're trying to raise kids on what is considered minimum wage. It can't be done.
It can't be done.
It can't be done.
Because what it encourages is crime.
Yeah.
It encourages crime because they put people in a lack situation, but they done created desires for these things that they can't afford. So they got to do something to get the things that the society say they're supposed to have, and they don't have because the job is not generating enough money for them to afford it. This is Veterans Talk, y'all. We kind of beating this horse here because see what we're looking at now on Thursday next week, the 9th, we'll have our first ever lunch and learn from the veterans from Sons of Atlanta Vietnam War Memorial Task Force. The task force did a job that did something that nobody else has done before. We've got the city of Atlanta to fund a war memorial, and that's a done deal. We gonna be coming up in Atlanta Historic Piedmont Park next year, but we're not just building a memorial in the park, just put a monument in the park. We're going into the community centers and the libraries and the community throughout where these guys grew up at, where they came out and went in the military at, and we're going to create an army of volunteers to address the issues that we have in our community today that need to be dealt with. Gun violence is one of them. Lack, teaching people how to overcome lack is another one. How to in this land of opportunities, how do we overcome the lack that the slave owners' children want us to live out of? We do business. That's what the equal opportunities things do. We're gonna have to learn how to set up co-ops together in the community to take over some of the activities that these businesses are doing in our community that won't even let you have a public bathroom in the business. That's to me is unacceptable. You're gonna spend your money in a store, but if you got to use the bathroom, we ain't got no public bathroom. But
it's similar to that situation that they dealt with, and it wasn't that long ago.
Not that long ago.
The fact that, I'll admit it, I'm 76 years old, but I remember going in places where they said, where you saw signs that said colored and white
only.
Yeah.
And so you couldn't use the bathroom in those places.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
And that's what we got going on in our community today. You go to the store and you got to use the bathroom. They ain't got nothing for you to use.
Yeah.
We should not have those businesses in our community. The community can run businesses. They can set up co-ops. And they can buy the bread and stuff that they need in the community every day and cut out the middleman, because that middleman is acting like the slave owner in our community. If you're going to spend your money in a store that you can't even use the restroom in, shame on you. I'm going to just say that, shame on you. We need to stop going in those stores. We need to stop spending our money in those stores. If a business is not giving back to the community that it's doing business in, people need to take a look at that business.
Yes.
They need to really take a look at that business. We see Walmart doing great business in our community. We can't hardly live without them, because that's the only store in the community we can go get ink from, Tony.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But we looked at the price of ink jumped up by 30% over the COVID years. When before COVID, you could get a ink cartridge, a black ink cartridge for $21. Now it's $30, $41. So they get money out of our community, but they're not giving any service back to the community. And they are working people like a plantation. Like a plantation. We need to take a look at this, because in order for us to get the quality of life for everybody in the community, we got to raise the level of income for the community. We got to bring more resources in those communities where the lack is, and that way people won't be committing crimes. It don't take a rocket science to understand what is going on. What we got to do, we got to stop waiting on government to solve these problems. And that's what we're doing with the Sons of Atlanta. We are going into the community centers with the same sense of service and duty that these young men had when they died fighting for this country, we're going into their communities and we're going to straighten it up.
Yeah. Because we went into the military knowing that that was our task. We got to, as you say, have that same attitude about our personal community, the task we have to make it a livable community.
Where the quality of life, you ain't scared to go to the store.
Yes.
You ain't scared to go to church. You ain't scared to send your children to school because of automatic weapons killing them. We don't need those kind of things in our community. And once we come together as a community and have conversations about this, we're gonna find out everybody, 90% of the people in the community don't want no automatic weapons in the community.
Right.
So why are they there? They're there because we are cooperating with the oppressor.
Yes.
Dr. King said, if you don't bend over, he can't ride your back.
Yeah.
We need to understand this. If we stop patronizing them, stop spending our money with them, stop cooperating with them, let them go and do their own thing the way they want to do it, before it's over with, they want to talk with us about doing things right. That's all.
Yeah. And they know. But they know that right now they're going to take advantage of the situation of the people not willing to just pressure them to do that.
Tony, I'm going to just tell the truth. If I had a business, right, that made $300 shoes, and you know, I'm going to sell them to you. I don't care if you can't pay your rent.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not concerned with you paying your rent. I'm concerned with you buying my shoes. And something is wrong with that picture.
Yes.
You know, we're going to sit up there and we know these people lined up to get these shoes, can't afford them. And some of them are dying for these shoes, Tony.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you go and buy the shoe, the neighbor come and take your life for a pair of shoes. Because what has happened, unbeknown to the public, our leadership has led us into idolatry.
Yes. Yes.
Things. We love things more than we do people.
Exactly.
We think we didn't put these things over people too. You know, we value them over people too. So I value my Mercedes more than I do you.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we need to get this conversation in the households where this is taking place, where you got young women that's working hard, 40 hours a week, right? They ain't making enough to pay rent. They ain't making enough, but they paying $500 and $600 for hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where they going?
Yeah.
Where they going? They ain't going outside the hood.
Yeah.
But they didn't got us into idolatry, and we ain't even picked it up yet.
Yep.
We worship things. They got us wanting all these little trinkets that they put out there for sale, and tell us you ain't nothing if you ain't got this.
Right.
You know, and we feel like I ain't nothing if I ain't got that.
Yeah.
And but you got it. I need it, man. I got this. You know, so I ain't got no problem with taking your life because I want that.
I want that. You got it. I want it. And if you have to lose your life so that I can get it, that's your problem.
That's your problem.
Mine.
That's your.
And unfortunately, that's not a humane way of living in this country.
See, now that's not loving thy neighbor as I do
Exactly.
myself.
Yeah.
That's not doing unto others as I would have them do unto me. We done got so far away from that, Tony, we don't even know it yet.
Yeah.
We don't even know how far we have gotten away from our sense of humanity. And it happened with children. I've heard women in the store almost jump on their child because they're asking for stuff.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to tell them no. It's because the child start cutting up and I can't get it.
Yep.
We need to be able to go back to the basics. We got to get back into the families. Families got to become families again, not conduits where it help you get away with killing your neighbor and you're gonna hide in the house. You know, and that's what one of the other things that make it so difficult for us to handle this inner community violence. It's coming out of families that know each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we won't talk to our children.
Yeah.
We beef them up. We let their music be the guide for their action and not a morality that we're teaching them. It's a sad occasion when we look around in our communities and we see our young folks dying so young.
Yeah.
And I go back to this scripture saying, if you raise them in the way of the word, raise them. You got to raise them up with some kind of know that God is there, but you got enough intelligence not to mess with it.
Yeah.
Because Daddy done told you, don't touch it.
Yes.
It's not for you to play with. It's not for your curiosity, for you to pick it up and handle it and see what it look like to hold it. Don't mess with it.
Yeah.
We not only don't have that nowadays, we got people with letting their children, little bitty children, hold weapons.
Hold a weapon. Yes. Yeah.
The sense of morality that keeps a society together is missing us right now, because we got some people called evangelicals or whatever they call them. Evangelicals that don't believe in the Bible.
Oh, no.
They don't believe in the Bible.
They have their interpretation of the Bible. Unfortunately, their interpretation only benefits them.
It only benefits them. Well, it's just like how they use the Bible to justify slavery.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Same thing.
Yeah. Same thing.
Know, just what 100 years later, but the same thing.
Same identical thing.
Yeah.
And we got the veterans, because we're the one that serve for the country. We're the one that's supposed to be protecting the freedoms and protecting the people. We need to speak up more. Because what we do, we'll fight. We still fight, but we pick our fights now.
Yeah.
Rather than understanding, you don't pick a fight. The fight pick you. Because sometimes things can happen in a way that you can't do nothing but fight. You got to fight. But in most cases in our community, the fights are so unnecessary and so unexplainable till you be wondering, what the world are they thinking about? Why did they kill this man for 50 cents?
Yeah.
Brother killing his brother. Brother killing his mother.
Yes.
You got people killing their mama now over things. Son wanted it, mama wouldn't give it to him, so they took mama's life.
Yeah.
We got a long way to go to get to where we got potentials to be. We're one of the greatest nations on planet Earth. We got the best schooling system. We got the best structured government. We got the best economic system. We got all this good stuff going for us, but we're falling apart. We're falling apart. Every day it get worse. It get worse because every day the number of senseless killings get more. Now, over Halloween weekend, just over the Halloween weekend, there was 8 mass shootings that was reported to the news. 8 around the country. One of them was one that the VA and the Department of Defense should take full responsibility for, because they had knowledge of this young man's condition and they didn't treat him. They didn't treat him. They didn't give him the tools he needed to be peaceful. Somebody triggered him.
Yep.
And he threw his life away. In the process, he killed 18 other folks.
Yep.
All because we didn't have people in government strong enough to say, well, you ain't getting out of the hospital, bro. I'm sorry. You're going to stay here until we know that you are capable of not hurting yourself and nobody else. But right now, I can't trust you.
Yeah.
You got too many skills.
One of the sad parts about that is at one time when we had situations where people were having mental challenges and breakdowns, there were institutions that they were. Now they weren't the best place.
Right, but
it wasn't always a safe place, but it was a place where you could house people that were having those types of challenges, and supposedly they were getting the care they needed so that at one point they could come back into society. Those places do not exist anymore.
They don't exist anymore.
And so as a result, you've got people that are having, I won't be as nice as that, mental challenges among the general public, and they don't know how to react. And so what they do is, what they see being done is acquire a lethal weapon and destroy other lives, and in some situations they're just begging for recognition. You know, here I am, I've got a problem,
help me.
But unfortunately,
we're too busy.
The government is choosing, well, we can spend that money elsewhere, and whatever the elsewhere is. But unfortunately, we as the public are suffering as a result of that.
Because the safety issue is always there when you got people that are trained to be killers, that incur mental disorders that can be triggered by anything, and you're not kind enough to them and to the general public, to provide the treatment that they need. And therefore, you shouldn't be in government. You know, people that would not perform their duties, whoever let the young man out of the hospital should not have been there. It's obvious he was not well when they let him out. And they're saying that, it was volunteer commission. Well, he went down to try to get some help, but obviously while he was there was no encouragement for him. You know, all they want to do is put him out. Let him go, you go.
You know, in some situations, not all, those medical workers and physicians are bound by the legal limitations of those insurance companies that would pay for that. And they put so many restrictions on them where they can only do so much, and once they get to a point to where they spent the designated funds for that care of that person, they can't spend anymore, and so they put the person back on the street, knowing all well that this person is not capable of living in society, because they're still having mental challenges that at some point, and they know, will result in other citizens losing their lives. And so that is part of the problem. It's not the whole problem, but it's part of it. These are all little pieces that go into figuring out why the person did what he did. And I'm quite sure there are other situations that play into it. Well, homelessness. You know, okay, you put this person back on the street, he has nowhere to go. And so now he's back on the street with his mental challenges. And of course, they give him those drugs that are supposed to control it. He has no sense of what he needs to take, when he needs to take, and how to handle should he get. I mean, it's almost a snowballing effect. You do this, and at some point, it's going to get to a breaking point. And when it gets to a breaking point, we're going to see what we had last weekend of a person taking several lives of people, innocent citizens.
Innocent citizens.
Yes.
And people that shouldn't be exposed to that kind of stuff, because, Tony, you're right. Now, in VA, they have a procedure, right? A procedure that 1010, they call it 1010, where they can involuntarily lock a mental patient up, you know, hospitalize and keep him there until he's fit to operate, you know, without the possibility of him hurting himself or others.
Mm-hmm.
They don't take those issues seriously because it costs more money.
Exactly.
It costs more money. I have when I was supervisor of mental health, I had the right to hospitalize a veteran, even though I was not medical. I was admin. But on Monday morning, as soon as the doctors got there, they didn't even look at the patient that good. They just released him.
Yep.
Now they wouldn't come to me. Well, Mr. McGee, you ain't got no right. You shouldn't be putting people in the hospital. Well, I'm part of, protecting the public. I'm part of protecting the veteran, and I'm seeing stuff that I don't think this man should be back in the streets. I'm putting him in the hospital. You release him.
Yeah.
You release him. And that's what they would do. They come in and release him. In one case, Ralph Jenkins, who they killed over on Wright Street, had told the psychiatrist the day he was at VA that he wanted to die in a firefight because he was in a firefight in Vietnam where his whole platoon was wiped out.
Yeah.
And he was traumatized by that, with survival guilt and some more stuff. Did they give him the right treatment? No, they didn't. So he reached the point where he made the police kill him.
Yeah. Yep.
So they don't even call those suicides, but that's what it is.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is.
And we need to make sure that people understand the way veterans with mental disabilities operate. And they could understand better what they're doing when they don't put control treatment in place. Control treatment means you got control over that individual's body. Mm-hmm. And you got the facilities to do it because they got lockups at the VA. You can be locked up at the VA on the 5th floor and you can't get out unless they let you out. I've been up there 3 months at a time. And it's just that the way society is geared now, it seems that the people that's in charge of care think more about how much it costs them than what effect it can have on saving lives. And we got to get that person out of the decision-making position that they're in because they're endangering the community.
Yeah.
And if we don't get them out of there, they're gonna stay there because government itself is being taken over by people that are more business minded than anything else. They're there to help business prevail. To help business make sure these business companies can make these large amount of profits, but they won't compel them to pay their employees a livable wage. So we just got to keep on doing what we're doing, Tony. Want to shout out to Herman and veterans, helping veterans down in Clayton County today. I was hoping to get down there, but we had our monthly membership meeting and we had a good time at the membership meeting, had some good food and people coming there to show appreciation for us. And we just had to do that, but we want to shout out to veterans helping veterans down in Clayco. And I know you guys had a good time today, and our hearts were with you, but we couldn't be there. What we want to do, though, we want to make sure that we stay connect because what I'm looking at is these local elections. They're not being televised. People are not talking about the local election, and most of the cities around the donuts, they got local elections. Atlanta don't have any. School boards got some elections going on we need to be careful about because we're talking about our kids again. But we need to make sure that we are voting in November, this month, this year.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of local elections that means a whole lot that's being taken up because we are not paying attention to them, and these infiltrators are getting into our government and they're just making it hard.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that we are looking at the local election. We're looking at every election, even the dog catcher.
Yeah.
Because see, if you get the wrong dog catcher, he might kill your dog. You know, so we need to make sure that we are vetting these people. We need to know where they're coming from. I've been looking at the school board, and I was hoping Valerie was gonna be here today, but she'll be here next week to talk about these elections because now they'll be over on the 7th, and we don't hear no fuss about them at all, none whatsoever, except the candidates rode down Main Street and saw all those signs, Tony. You know, so we know that there are a lot of local elections going on, but ain't that many people gonna be voting because they ain't making no fuss out of it.
Yeah.
It's quiet as a house mouse when we should be building this democracy. We should be working on this democracy. This is the only thing that keep us a free nation. Right now, we got to stop and look at this. Every nation on planet Earth got a community in the United States of America.
Yeah. Yes.
Every nation on planet Earth got a community in the United States of America. They living up under one law. We are a multicultural, multiracial society now. We should be learning how to live together as neighbors. Under this premise that we started out with, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. If we live like that, our community would be safe and prosperous. Because we got some very smart people, but we got this 2% controlling 98% of the wealth that using puppet strings to manipulate and control the rest of us. So we got to come up out of this following bad leaders. If we see that a leader that we're following is not following the Constitution of these United States, we need to stop following that person right then and there, because he can't be representing us if he's not representing the Constitution. It's no way possible for them to represent you if they're not representing the Constitution. The Constitution is what protects you. The Constitution is what gives you the Bill of Rights. Not a person, not a politician. If anything, the politicians can take away the Bill of Rights. They can appoint people on the court that interpret the Constitution in ways that your rights don't mean nothing.
Exactly. And the truth about that is we lived through that in the last administration. He was bound and determined to change the laws to benefit that 2%.
2%.
And did. He had people in his cabinet and in his party that saw what he was trying to do and encouraged him.
Encouraged it. And I'm going to tell you something. They were doing it before he got there.
Yes.
Mitch McConnell.
Yes.
Let me talk about bad boy Mitch. Mitch McConnell has stacked the Supreme Court of the United States purposely over the years.
Yes.
And he's manipulated Congress like that when Trump was coming out of office, they wanted to appoint them 3 judges.
Yeah.
They broke every rule of the book.
Yes.
To get them people appointed. But then this is the same Mitch that upheld, wouldn't even let Barack appoint.
Yeah. Right.
And got Joe Biden them held up now with doing things.
Yeah.
We need to look at these people that in our government. Now, why would Mitch put so much emphasis on the Supreme Court? Now we see.
Yes.
It is one of the most corrupt,
backward thinking
Supreme Court.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because what they're all about business. They're about giving business what they want.
Yep.
And I'm gonna see whether the 11th Circuit going to uphold this gag order.
Right.
See, I'm seeing whether they're gonna do that.
Yeah.
They done already saying that they wasn't gonna put a restraining order on it when they should have.
Yeah.
If I was a defendant and I was threatening witnesses and judges and stuff, I'd have already been charged with another crime.
Exactly.
Another crime, because that's a crime.
Yes.
And they're trying to act like, well, he's running for president. What has that got to do with you?
Yes.
Honoring the laws of the country? Listen.
Yeah.
This is Veterans Talk, and we just veterans talking to veterans in the community about all things veterans in the community, because we are community.
We are the community.
We are the community. I would like to look at it like this, Tony. I want to be my community best asset.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
To keep it safe, to make sure that it's progressing, make sure that all people in my community is at peace with each other and with peace with themselves and not lacking anything in their household.
Yeah.
That would be a community like Dr. King was talking about, the beloved community. Where we all live together, no one lacking anything that they need. And it's possible.
It is possible. It is.
I mean, we
totally
got
possible.
enough in this country for everybody and some.
Yep.
But the billionaires, they got houses in 2 or 3 different states and 4 or 5 houses in the state that they're in, and they don't want you to have a livable wage.
Yeah.
That's selfish.
That's totally selfish.
That's selfish. And once we look at how selfish these people are and stop cooperating with them, they'll share the wealth.
Mm-hmm.
They'll share the wealth, because they know that they can't make it without us, and we can't make it without them.
Yeah. And it's not like we're asking them to give up a part of their wealth. No, we want you to share it, because the way you all have the system set up, you're going to benefit from any benefits that we get. The benefits aren't going, just because we benefit from them, you're going to lose. We're all going to benefit from you're willing to make funds more accessible to those that are the most needy. But for some reason, that's not their thought. And it doesn't mean they don't know it. They're just choosing not to think that way.
And they got the other people that's running behind them, thinking that somebody else gonna come take their place.
Yeah.
Like the Mexicans, the people gonna come take their place. Don't nobody want to take their place.
No.
They just want a place in this country like everybody else. But see, the demagogues got you set us up having he coming. I'm Tony. He coming to take McGee coming over there to take your sign off your street. So you got to keep him out of your neighborhood.
Yep.
They got us all going against each other, and we're not the ones that got the control.
Yeah. We're making absolutely no major decisions that would affect our economy.
No.
We're working in it, but we aren't making the decisions that will affect it.
No.
I can remember when they were talking about immigrants from Mexico moving, they're coming here to take our jobs. And finally, one major, and I wish I could remember the person's name, he said, they aren't coming here to take our jobs, they're coming here to do the jobs we won't do
no more.
Yes.
We won't listen.
Yeah.
We're not picking cotton.
No, we're not picking fruit. We're not picking vegetables. We're not doing those jobs.
We're not doing those jobs.
But those jobs have to be done so that we can eat.
They are fundamental to our daily lives.
Yes.
And we've always had immigrants that does this.
Yes.
And then the hypocrites, they talk about them again, they got them hide on their property.
Exactly.
Like I think Trump got busted with a bunch of them on his property.
Yes.
While he talking about what they doing. And that's the hypocrisy of it all.
Yes.
We got to stop following these evil leaders who's misinforming us to keep control over us, because they recognize we outnumber them, so they got to feed us a whole bunch of crap to keep us in check. And that's what they doing. And we buying into it 1,000 miles an hour. So, but I'm calling up on veterans. I'm calling up on veteran family, Tony. to look at what these people are saying about cutting veterans benefits.
Yes.
They are openly advocating cutting veterans benefits. They need to be adding some to veteran benefits, not cutting it. And we're gonna sit back and vote for them. We're gonna empower them to depower us. I don't. That baffles me to no end. Why can't we just come together, look at them and demand the kind of service from them that they demanded from us? They demanded. Listen, Tony. You know, if you was late, AWOL, AOOL, and the first thing they hit you with is that paycheck.
Yeah.
So they know you ain't gonna keep doing that because the pay was already too low. Now they gonna start taking it because you too late. You showed up too late. So you learn to be on time. You learn to perform the duties that was assigned to you.
Yeah.
And you work with whoever that was there to work with
That's
you
it.
with.
That's it. You know.
And you did a good job.
Yeah.
You know,
and we worked as a team.
Worked as a team.
You know, there were times when we worked with people, you know, he's not quite there yet.
Mm-hmm.
But we knew we had no choice but to work with him. And so you do those things necessary to pull that person along until they got to the point to where they understood what their duties were and how to perform it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, teamwork.
Teamwork. And that's what military showed us that we could do.
Yes.
Even though we was from different places in life.
And different races.
And different races.
In some cases, different countries.
Different countries. And you know what? We formed bonds.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
That was stronger than brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of those people died trying to save each other.
Yes. Right. Yes.
See, we need to teach the rest of the world what it is that you can get out of the military. See, a lot of people think the military is a bunch of hogwash because you have to sacrifice so much, but you get so much for your sacrifice.
Yeah.
You get to meet some of the greatest people on planet Earth that you can work with. Mm-hmm. And I say that about veterans because I'm glad to be in that sorority.
Yes.
You know, I think it's one of the greatest sororities that's here because these are people that have upheld the rule of law beyond anything anybody else could say.
Yeah.
Because we come in not knowing anything. Before when you got through with AIT, they were ready to give you a ship to run.
Yeah.
You know? So that showed us that we could come into a situation, learn well enough to be a leader in that situation or be a follower in that situation, all for one cause.
Yeah.
The same cause. The same cause. We got to get back to that in our communities. We got to get that in our communities, or our communities are going to become graveyards.
Mm-hmm.
Like they are now. They're like right now, they're like war zones.
Oh, yes.
But if we don't do something about it, they're gonna be graveyards because that's what's gonna happen. Because the way these people don't care. They don't care if you got gun shootouts in the streets. They gonna tell you can go get some more guns.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to keep this in mind as we go to the poll this month.
Oh,
This month, go to the poll. Education. In some of these cities, city councilmen, mayors are running. I know up in College Park, the mayor is running. I think East Point too.
No, East Point is just councilman. Councilman. Yeah.
So we need. These are people that we need to elect. These are people that's close to what we do every day. We need to know who they are and how they're gonna work our governments for the next few years.
Yeah.
And if we don't know that, then, but I'm sorry to say, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
We're in trouble because we're electing people that don't care nothing about the people. They're there for their own agenda, or there for some takeover agenda that they done got with Trump, some kind of pledge that these people done got with Trump to take over this country. And they want to manipulate the laws. Not they don't care nothing about the people. They get the laws on their side. They don't care nothing about you.
Yeah.
They'll show you what they'll do with you if you don't honor them. And that way, once they get control, they're gonna have the law on their side. And when you get beat up by the police, you just gonna be beat up by the police. It's Veterans Talking. Ain't nothing but a thing. But it's a thing we want to tune into every Saturday afternoon. You went through that. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and share with all your friends, all the media. We'll be back here next week doing the same thing. Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.